So what do you think of Twitter
What do I
today?
think of Twitter?
Yeah.
Well, Twitter, from a technical standpoint, it filled its gap today. So, like, I basically like since the last earnings, it like ran up, and then after earnings, it just like shot down. So there was a gap between wherever it was and 50.5,
Yeah.
and it filled that gap today.
Yeah, man, I had Twitter like all year. I think I first got it in May.
Yeah,
And then when Jack Dorsey was doing all the stuff where he was not letting like the New York Post put up an article, and I was like, this all smells really bad.
right,
And then around then, I got it at like 30, and then it like went up. It's like 45, and after that stuff, it went down, and I
right.
sold it.
Okay.
Man, I cost myself a lot of money by selling it though. So
Uh,
annoying.
I know. I mean, I don't know what Twitter's deal is. I'm not even quite sure if like this whole deal with Snap, like what that's going to really amount to.
Yeah, I guess it just makes it where it's easier for them to post on. So I guess it makes it where if you do a tweet, you can just put it in your Snap or Instagram story easy.
Right. But then I feel like Instagram already does that.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about that too. It's they're not creating anything new. They're just taking these other ideas. But what I think is really interesting about it is instead of trying to take screen time from another app, you're just accepting that people are using that other app.
Right. As long as they're getting it out there. I mean, I think the point is they're posting whatever onto Instagram or like Snap, and then you're like following that person.
Yeah.
Then you might find exposure to whatever that person's Twitter handle is, and then you'll go to Twitter and follow that person, and then you'll just be on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Twitter's, to me, it's not really that intuitive whenever I go through it.
I don't know. Well, you definitely get used to it. Like I never used it, and then I use it a lot now.
Right.
But have you heard about that company Parler?
No.
So essentially, like conservatives they're all going to this platform called Parler,
Oh,
and
really?
it's very similar to Twitter.
Uh-huh.
It kind of looks like Twitter, but it's slightly different. And but like Sean Hannity, for example, uses it.
Right. Okay. Like conservative Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Twitter, the most useful thing is like if I see a movement in the stock that I don't really know what's going on, like why is it moving like this, I'll go to Twitter and then I'll just put in the ticker.
Yeah, it's really good for that.
Yeah, so that's what I like it for. Or like just any news.
No, it's best for that. And then even like stuff that happens in DC, it's like Pelosi would talk to Mnuchin, and then Pelosi's chief of staff after the meeting would tweet something. You know?
Yeah.
It's like as fast as you can get the information.
Right. But then you need to know who to follow.
Yeah. I mean, and then it gets to be kind of like there's a lot going on with it, you know, because there's so many people you end up following.
Yeah, and then like after a while, it's just all random stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so like I said, I bought those 10 calls at 55 Jan 2022.
Okay.
So that's it needs like a 25% bump from now. Which I don't know. We'll see. I'm just happy I'm back in it because after I sold it, I regretted selling it.
Right.
So now I get the exposure. Right.
I mean, if it hit 55 like this year, then those calls are just gonna, they're gonna be way up. I mean, when I bought the Palantir ones, they were pretty cheap, but like as soon as it hit like almost 30, like they were like when it hit the mark, they were like at least $10 each or more.
Yeah, I feel so. I also have 10 Palantir calls for the 2022, and those are shit. What did I buy? I bought the 50s maybe.
Okay.
Which that's almost like 100% move, but honestly, I feel like better about that than the Twitter one.
Right. Like you want me to share you the Palantir chart? Like this is the weekly chart, right? And then I read this Fibonacci. So there's two ways to look at this, right? Like the first Fibonacci is this is like the original one. So I think this is like the most bullish case. Like it's basically you measure it from the bottom to where it tops,
Yeah.
and the next low point where it turns around, and then it spits out these levels, and these are like your targets. So this is like the 1-to-1 extension target. So like if it breaks out of this triangle here,
Yeah.
like saying it's going to go to 45.89. That's the first target, and if it's like
Oh wow.
it'll like go all the way up to 50.
So when's that triangle going to be resolved or whatever?
So,
when will you know it's happening?
right. Okay. So you see this triangle, like it made this high and then it made this low. And then now you see that it's in this triangle. And basically like by the time that it reaches this apex, it's going to have to decide whether to go up or down.
So that's December 20th?
Yeah, like December 16th.
Damn, that's soon, man. We'll have to do a follow-up on this one.
Right. So there's two different paths that are possible here, right?
So what?
So one path is like this. Like we just go straight up like here.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's going to have to do a retest and then like it'll start going higher.
Okay.
The other one is it'll just like go in here. It'll come to this like top trend line and then come back to this bottom one. And
and keep narrowing.
And then if it breaks out like this, then like you don't, if it breaks out like this, then it doesn't really retest this trend line.
But then the other thing is it just keeps narrowing and eventually could like go down, obviously.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the bear case is that
So what's the bear case? Let's see that.
The bear case is that it'll like
that's very bearish.
You get it, like
yeah.
But I just don't really see it. These IPOs are all like hot.
Yeah, I don't know, and from what I've read on the Reddit threads about this company, it seems pretty legit. Lots of companies have a ton of data and they don't know what to do with it. They have no idea how to use it. Right. And this company figures that out for you.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like doing government contracts, that's like a really pretty big positive.
They have the FDA contract now.
Yeah.
So I think it's got a lot of catalysts behind it.
Yeah. So as we're going into the next year, those are my two like hoping for home run positions are this Palantir, those 10 calls, and then the other's Twtr and those 10 calls.
Okay.
And those are, and I think in each of them that it costs us like 8K, like 8,000. So possible, it just really shits the bed, but hopefully it doesn't.
I mean, your risk to reward is pretty big, right? Like if it is like a triple digit stock and it goes up to like 100, your calls it's gonna be like $100,000.
Yeah. Like what's their market cap? Is it
let me see
40 billion maybe?
47 billion. So it's like a still.
But you're talking like 200 billion. This that seems like pretty reasonable for any company that does stuff with data and tech. There's going to be new companies in that space, and they're going to hit those valuations.
Right. I mean, Tesla's like 600 billion now.
Yeah, that makes no sense. I think it's crazy. What's so weird about it is all the people that are going short Tesla. I feel like their whole argument is like, hey, look at the size of the auto market. Tesla doesn't compete in terms of like the profit they're generating. Like you compare it to Toyota and these other companies. But then all the people that are bullish, they always say, hey, it's not a car company. I feel like, but it's weird. Like, why don't shorts acknowledge that it's not just a car company, right? And long should acknowledge that as a car company, it's actually not the best. Because since there's so many ways to value a company, and a lot of the ways you would value it, it would look like it's not worth as much as it says it's worth, right?
I'm thinking after this event, after the SPX listing, the stock's going to go into like some sort of consolidation for a while.
Yeah, I'm not clear on Tesla. So if people say they're more than a car company, like besides cars, do they sell that many like batteries for houses? Really?
I
Probably
mean,
not, right?
probably not. But I think this is my thinking that they're kind of using Tesla.
Oh, can you pull up the Tesla chart? Is it
Yeah,
easy?
I feel like they're using their cars as the same as Apple uses the iPhone. They kind of like get you into their ecosystem using the car. And
Yeah.
once you're in their ecosystem, they can start selling you services.
But what services? Like, what's the extra? So I guess you get like the other I guess that you break off their navigation package. That's
Right.
different. Uh,
But maybe they're gonna have like within their car, they're gonna have like a whole app menu that can help you do certain things, and like you have to purchase it from them. I don't know.
like with the iPhone, that became an ecosystem. I mean, but even if like every single person drove a Tesla instead of another car, like how significant would that market share be? You know,
I don't know. Yeah, I
that's
mean,
what doesn't make sense to me and that's not going to happen either.
I don't
For like
understand.
an iPhone, like that's in like almost everyone's pocket,
Right.
but not every person's going to own a car. And
Yeah.
the few that do own a car, they may just not buy a Tesla.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then these other companies, why couldn't they do the same thing? Why couldn't they have this ecosystem? I don't get it.
And like I didn't even know people wanted cars. I thought everybody was moving away from having cars.
Yeah. Or I don't know, maybe the self-driving thing becomes its
Yeah,
own
but
thing.
all right, self-driving. Like, so what? If once they do self-driving, then everyone else is going to do self-driving, and then it's going to be the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, did I tell you what I heard about Toyota?
No.
So I heard that Toyota, they like all their electric hybrid patents, that they made them all public,
Oh wow.
like public domain. But the reason they did it is because they're eventually going to hydrogen fuel cells.
Oh wow.
And that then, so hopefully everyone just focuses on like electric batteries.
Yeah.
And then they'll have cornered the hydrogen fuel cell market, which they think will be more
Really.
important. Yeah, because they say with like batteries, you can only drive so far and you have to charge it and it can take a while.
Yeah.
I guess with hydrogen, you just change the fuel cells or the way you fill it up. It's just like
What are the hydrogen companies that we should be looking at?
the only one I know is Plug.
Okay.
But Plug, what they do, it looks like, so they have deals with like Amazon and Walmart, but it's more for like warehouse machinery,
Okay.
like a little forklift or something.
Oh.
And they want to expand into like the heavy commercial vehicles. But I think in terms of passenger cars, I think Honda may have a hydrogen car, and maybe Toyota.
Probably. I just saw like this one today. Updated fuel cell tech Toyota semi project, 300 miles at full load. Oh yeah, that commitment to hydrogen fuel cell technology for
Oh yeah, so
a couple of years. I mean, it seems like this EV stuff, like it's here now.
we're in Mexico over the summer, and you go to Mexico, and there's just like old American gasoline cars.
Oh yeah.
So like EV, I mean, it's like you'll have it, hear about it a lot, but I don't really see it,
Yeah, I
as
mean,
much.
I see more Teslas, but like in terms of, there's not that much variety.
Yeah, but still, when I say a Tesla, it's not like a super common occurrence,
Oh really?
I still kind of notice it, like, oh, there's a Tesla.
Oh yeah.
Or like a Toyota Camry, you see like a million Toyota
Like,
Camrys.
hey man, those don't fix what's not broken.
Like, that's where I want to be. No, I need to find more. But I also bought candy, right? But have you seen their cars?
Oh yeah.
So they're going to start selling them in Dallas for.
Okay.
I think it'll cost like after the tax credits, like $10,000 maybe.
Cheap, man. I know that there's this other company, XPEV. They're a Chinese brand, but they're starting to deliver cars to Norway, and they're kind of like that too. They're like these mini small ones.
I think this is what we're gonna have. Like, there's gonna be a lot of like little cars. Like
Right? Yeah.
that car was pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, these do look not bad.
Those are slick, man.
Yeah, they are slick.
They're only in Norway.
No, they're from China, but they got an order to deliver 100 of them to Norway. But they've been selling these cars already.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that candy car, because that stock, man, I'm down like. So I bought it, and then within 3 days, it went up like 40%. And now I'm down 30% on it.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah. I mean, so looking at your chart, where you see the green after the first little hill.
Yeah.
That's when I bought it. No, I probably bought it in the middle of the hill or at the top. Okay. That's what I did. Yeah.
I mean, these all follow the same, right? You look at KNDI, and then you look at XPEV, you look at LI. It's all that similar shape.
Oh, can you do KNDI with one of those? Can you do it can you compare the two charts?
I can do like
I'm just interested over the same like time horizon.
Oh, there is a way. Let me see.
I mean, you can do it on Google Finance even. So what's this that you use for your charts?
Huh?
What software or what program do you use to chart? TradingView. And do you have to pay for that?
I pay for it. Like, so there's a free version out there, but if you want more indicators and stuff, you have to pay for it. But I pay for it. They have a pretty good Black Friday deal, so I just bought it.
Oh, word.
It was like, I think it's like 100 something bucks for the whole year, so it's not that bad.
So at least at the end, this like very similar, right?
Yeah, I mean
they both had that run up.
All of these kind of like were like this, and then all of a sudden, it started blowing up. I think like when Tesla was basically when Tesla announced that they were going onto the SPX, then like all these EV stocks just started like booming.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. It seems like that's the obvious place there's going to be like companies making money.
Yeah.
And what's funny is like the design of those electric cars is so much better. You know, they're just like the way they do the dash. And
they're more just like
governor. Yeah, it just like looks like it's from the future.
Right. I think they figured out a way to make the car like I guess the electric motor must be cheaper than the regular ones. Put more money into the UI.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
But you know, all those like everything runs on semiconductor technology, and like those are just getting cheaper now.
Yeah.
So, what do you think is going to happen with this stimulus, man?
You know, I think that come around December 18th that it gets passed, because like right before the election, Democrats were asking for over $3 trillion.
Right.
Republicans are like, originally it has to be 500 billion. Then Trump and Mnuchin were like, around $1 trillion. But you had that huge gap. And those numbers, they stayed like that. For now, the numbers, you have two real proposals. You have these 8 people in Congress with Senators Romney and Collins. You know, they have this $908 billion one. And then Mnuchin just put to Pelosi a $916 billion one.
Yeah.
So I feel like now just how the numbers are getting pretty specific, right? It's no longer just like 3 trillion, 1 trillion. It's like 908 billion, 916 billion. And even like McConnell's, he had one that's like 469 billion.
Yeah.
So I feel like the numbers are so specific that they're getting there because they're actually like adding things together to get these amounts, right?
Right.
And also it sounds like there's actually like texts being exchanged. So, I mean, there's a lot of buzz around it. So I think it gets done because I don't think any of these people, they want to go back to their districts and not having done it.
Anything, right? But how do you think they're going to get McConnell to come up?
Uh, I think McConnell's probably, I mean, I have no idea, but I would think for that $900 billion number, the fact that Mnuchin took that number to Pelosi makes me think that McConnell must have been aware of it. Because McConnell has seen, it seems like him and Trump are talking a lot about it.
Oh, really?
They're really, yeah, because I think McConnell was the one that said Trump supported like his plan.
Okay.
So I just took that to mean they're talking. And then I think anything Mnuchin would present to Pelosi, that's from the White House, right? That's like from Trump. So just based on all that, I think McConnell had to have been aware. But he's going, I mean, I think he'll stay firm. And then it will kind of keep it from the Democrats being able to push it higher.
Okay.
Right? Because he's kind of like, if there's a balloon on a string, he's like the one at the bottom holding it down, right? So, yeah, and so I think it gets done, and I think there's state aid, I think there's liability protection.
Okay.
And, and then both sides, because, I mean, really what you need now is just something that everyone can take credit for, right?
True.
So, Democrats can go, hey, we got state and local aid, and we got it as high as we could. McConnell only wanted this number.
Right.
And then Republicans can say how there's not too much state and local aid and it's, fair for others, all states or something.
Yeah, I hope it gets done, man. I feel like the whole market is just like waiting for
Yeah,
it.
no, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like it's getting done. I thought there was no way. Remember in like September, I was like, it's not happening. It's not happening. I'm calling it. It's happening.
Oh, wow.
I'll call it. I bet it gets done on December 20th.
December 20th? That's on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll say the 19th.
The 19th.
I think it gets pushed up to like the last hour, and then then everyone gets to go have a good Christmas, right?
Yeah. I want it to happen like middle next week.
Yeah, so yeah, I think it's gonna happen. But these things can always fall apart. The reason it might not happen is you have multiple proposals, which means you have multiple negotiators.